Okay, let's talk about getting a grip on your business. We're going to look at a system that's designed to bring some serious order to the chaos of being an entrepreneur. And look, this isn't more high-level theory. Think of it more like a mechanic's manual, a practical guide to stop your business from leaking time, energy, and, well, money. So let's just ask the tough question right out of the gate. Does your business run you? For so many founders, that dream of freedom ends up feeling like a trap. You're just constantly reacting, you're never actually getting ahead. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, then you are definitely in the right place.
And these are the classic symptoms, right? You're basically a professional firefighter. Your team seems like they're all rowing in different directions, the margins are way too thin, and the big one, if you dare to take a day off, the whole thing just grinds to a halt. These aren't just little headaches, they're huge red flags that the founder is stuck being the engine, not the architect.
And that is the brutal, honest-to-goodness truth that this whole system, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, or EOS, is built to solve. It's all about building something that can actually grow and thrive, whether you're in the weeds every single day or not. So here's our game plan. We've talked about the trap. Now we're going to look at the solution, the operating system itself. We'll break down the core parts, see how to get real traction, and then we'll wrap up with the very first steps you can take. So what is this solution, really? Look, it's not some new management fad. The best way to think about it is like the operating system on your computer. It's a single, simple framework that gets everybody, and I mean everybody, speaking the same language and using the same practical tools. And this is the heart of it all. The entire EOS model is built around making just 6 key parts of your business strong. We're talking vision, people, data, issues, process, and traction. You know, if you get these 6 things right, it's amazing how the 100 other little things you're worried about just kind of solve themselves. The whole goal here is just to replace all that complexity with clarity. It's that simple. When everyone, from the top down, understands the system, all that friction and confusion just melts away. So let's see how it works, starting with the first 2 big pieces. All right, so everything in this system is built on 2 foundational pillars. First, you've got to know exactly where you're going. That's your vision. And this means getting your leadership team 100% on the same page about everything: your values, your focus, your 10-year target. Then, once that vision is crystal clear, you got to know who you're going on this journey with. And that is all about your people. This quote just perfectly nails the challenge of the people component, doesn't it? Getting the right people in the right seats is, without a doubt, one of the hardest things a leader has to do. But it's absolutely crucial for growth. It's not about guilt. It's about clarity. Now, what's so powerful here is this distinction EOS makes. You need both. Right people are the ones who just fit. They share your core values. But they also have to be in the right seat. And that means they get it, they want it, and they have the capacity to do that specific job. Get, want, capacity, or GWC. It becomes this really simple, non-negotiable filter for your entire team. Okay, so with your vision and people getting sorted out, we can move on to the parts that create real transparency and consistency. This is all about getting rid of guesswork and opinions and replacing them with cold, hard facts, actual solutions, and a way of doing business that you can repeat over and over. The data component kicks off with something called a scorecard. Now, this is not your P&L statement you look at once a month. No, that's looking in the rearview mirror. A great scorecard tracks just a handful of weekly numbers that actually predict future results. We're talking things like leads generated, sales calls made, or even a critical metric like revenue per visitor. It lets you see trouble coming before it becomes a disaster. Let's be real, every single company has issues. The great ones are just way better at solving them. So instead of letting problems fester in whispers and side conversations, the EOS process makes you build a culture where you drag issues out into the light, you put them on a list, and you see them as opportunities to get stronger. And here is the brilliantly simple 3-step process for doing that. It's called IDS: identify, discuss, and solve. And here's the secret. You spend most of your time on identify, digging and digging until you find the real root cause. Once you nail that, the discussion gets focused and the solution becomes obvious. And finally, we've got process. Now, when you hear process, don't think of some giant dusty binder that nobody ever reads. This is all about the 80-20 rule. You just identify and document that handful of core processes, how you market, how you sell, how you deliver, that produce most of your results. This is what makes your success repeatable and, more importantly, scalable. Okay, so this is the crucial part. Having a great vision, the right people, and solid processes, that's all fantastic, but it's completely useless without execution. This last component, traction, is the glue. It's what connects all the other pieces to what actually happens in the real world. This line just hits so hard for so many entrepreneurs because it's just so true. You can have the most brilliant ideas and strategies in the world, but if you don't have a simple, disciplined system for making them a reality, they're just daydreams.
So the number one tool for gaining traction is something called rocks. Rocks are simply the 3 to 7 most important priorities for the entire company that absolutely must get done in the next 90 days. So a rock might be launch the new website by June 1st, or increase revenue per visitor by 10%. This creates what they call a 90-day world, and it forces this incredible focus on what really matters right now.
All right, this all sounds pretty good, right? But the real power of this whole system is just how practical it is. So how do you actually start? How do you begin to feel that shift from chaos to control? Here are 3 concrete things you can do. First, build your accountability chart. Think structure first, then people. Second, get your leadership team together and set your first company rocks for the next 90 days. And third, launch what's called the meeting pulse by starting a weekly 90-minute leadership meeting. Here's a challenge. For one of your first rocks, focus on improving a core metric, like your revenue per visitor. Then, for the next 2 weeks, track your progress on that single number. That is how you start to feel this working fast. Because ultimately, that's what this is all about. This system is designed to give you, the entrepreneur, the freedom to actually lead, to build your vision, to work on the business instead of being buried in it. It's a toolkit for finally, truly getting a grip.